All right, I believe we are live. Welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show, episode number 43. Bitcoin jumps or pumps to almost 9,000, and the Bitcoin SV scam is real. I am joined here by Charlie from cultivatecrypto.com. Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Getting used to this new setup. I got to download the virtual cam apparently to use this thing, but it's all good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how is life going for you over there on the crypto world? Today was a wild one.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, you got at the moment not only Bitcoin pumping right in the course of this year so far from 7,200 to basically right now it's at 88, but it was up to 8,900 a bit earlier today. And on top of that, you got a bunch of other shit pumping too. For example, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, the BSV, was up over 300% just over the last few days.
Yeah, excuse me. I was really shocked this morning as I woke up. I was like, yo, what the hell? Are you kidding me? Like, I saw Bitcoin at 8,900 and I was like, what the hell is going on? I couldn't even believe what the fuck was going on. But it's always a pleasant surprise. Let me ask you this. I have heard from a little crypto bird that within the next 90 days, the exchanges in China are going to open up and there's going to be a massive pump in all Bitcoin prices. True or false?
So true in that the mining and exchanges in terms of what's going to be happening in China is going to be a hell of a lot more active in the next few months coming up into the halving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to only be with Bitcoin, but that's also going to be with Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is going through a halving about 3 weeks prior to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the miners are in China, and those guys will be switching their mining rigs because you can mine both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision off of the same type of infrastructure. So they're going to be pointing their mining power or processing power towards those different coins, depending on which one is more profitable at any specific time. So then they're going to have to be able to get their money out, of either Satoshi Vision or Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Diamond and these different things in order to actually get their money back into Bitcoin or into maybe cash or US dollar tether or whatever else they're going to use. So China is going to be the big mover here in the next few months.
I've heard that, that I think you misheard me. Like the exchanges are opening up.
Well, that's what I mean. They're going to have to take the miners. They're going to have to be able to exchange what they want, right? Their Bitcoin Satoshi Vision or whatever to either back to Bitcoin or to US dollar tether or to digital Chinese yuan. And what else did you hear on that? Is that the only thing you heard?
I heard that. I heard from relatively. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah,
we'll talk about it offline. Oh my god, yeah. So shall we just do? Why don't you? Let's just jump right into the price, and we'll get things rolling. Go ahead and share your screen, and I will approve it and put it on the main one here. Let's just talk about what we got going on in regards to the whole price currently. And folks out there, let me know if you can see this or if I need to maximize this better. I mean, actually, I think it's going to go like this. Okay, so neither of us are on the screen now, so it's maximum. Guys in the chat, let me know if you can see this properly.
Yeah, I can see it now. It comes up on my other screen as well.
Okay, great.
So yeah, let me go on the cursor here just to see what's going on. So I guess there's a lot of stuff going on in this chart, but if I just kind of take off some of this stuff here, the main stuff that you'll want to see here is that we have a red line here, and then a green line up here. and the price currently right here, right?
Mm.
So what the red line is going from the tops of some of the candles here, mainly on the bodies of the candles coming down. And then here on the green, we have the tops of the wicks, right, touching here, here, and then recently breaking through here. And if you look at both of these basically channel lines, the top one would be the most extreme price, and then the bottom one would be kind of a middle ground price. We broke the middle ground one, also this support resistance in the 8,300 area, and then we broke above that, above the second channel here on the wicks at about 8,500. So right now, actually, Bitcoin could go two ways. One, it could do a thing called a dead cat bounce, which just means the price stays a little bit above what it should be right now, bounces off of these trend lines, both either the green or the red, and then comes back within them. Or it continues pumping up from here. I don't think within the next probably about 12 hours that it moves anywhere above 8,900. And right now on the bottom of the screen, you can see the RSI is basically overbought, meaning it's probably higher now than it has been in terms of how many people have bought since actually.
I've got it at 8,849 currently, according to CoinMarketCap right now.
Yeah, it's basically right. And yeah, this is the highest in sentiment in terms of people wanting to buy that it's been since June, even though the price is lower since that time. So anyways, the price is pretty high right now, and it probably should find its way back down. But over the last few days, it's been building up. So the price, as long as the price stays above 8,300, that's relatively positive for Bitcoin. And the longer that it does that, the more likely that's going to stay that way.
Look at this guy. Nigerian Don wrote in the chat, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision Dai Kirai desu.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, that is hilarious. Guys, he's writing in Japanese, and he says he really hates Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, which we'll talk about that one as well, but that was fucking hilarious.
I can show you the chart on that. That one's going to make your eyes pop because, I mean, this
do you have scam indicators on your chart?
Hell yeah. Well, here's the one thing, right? So Bitcoin itself has only gone up about 14% over the last few days. All right, let's check on Bitcoin Satoshi Vision here. So I'll change over to this screen. Hold on a second. There we go. Can you see that one?
I can. There we go. Good fucking Lord.
So that's all you need for your manipulation or scam.
So it doubled, huh?
Well, no, more than doubled. So go down here from $81, let's say on December 18th, which is also the last low price point for Bitcoin. The high up since there is up 470%, which is the same as what Bitcoin did at its maximum all of last year. So, I mean, this is a whole year's worth of price action in the matter of the last 3 weeks, maybe 1 month. So, I mean, nothing pumps more than 100% is a double. So nothing pumps this hard. This is BSV compared to the US dollar. So going from 80 cents to $400.
80 cents or $80?
Sorry, $80. My bad. To $400. So over 4 times. It's pretty massive.
This is just organic, right?
Hell no.
No, I know.
Right.
Where is this coming from, and who's pumping it? What are the philosophies behind this?
Well, the most recent thing which happened, actually, which is hilarious, is that well, the guy who runs the BSV scam, right, is Craig Wright.
Most beloved character in crypto, right next to Roger Ver.
Clearly. And basically, he has to move all of his Bitcoins, apparently, that he owns, because he actually has to pay back in court some people who helped him mine Bitcoin at the beginning. So apparently he needs to move over $1 billion worth of coins, blah, 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 a bunch of bullshit. But yeah, he's pumping it to try to find money for himself somewhere, you know, in the couch cushions or something, who knows. But all we know is that he is manipulating it. So that's all that really matters.
I mean, is there solid proof, or are we just speculating, or what are we thinking here?
Well, here's the article I'll show you. That's just talking about the most recent news with him. There we go. Can we see it?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is just the most recent thing which has happened is he has to receive the keys for his $9.6 billion of Bitcoin in order to pay back this guy named Dave Kleiman who died, but he has to pay back that guy's family for a certain amount of Bitcoin that he mined back in the day. And so this is him scamming the courts, just lying blatantly in court that, yeah, I have to go find ways to get my old Bitcoin that I've been locked out of, blah, 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 blah. So in the meantime, if he's going to pump the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, then, he might be just trying to find ways to find some loose cash.
Holy shit.
So who knows what court fees he has to be paying, or who knows exactly what the background is, what's happening in the background. But
he's liquidating a bunch of shit right now. He's probably making out like a bandit right now.
Yeah, nobody knows what he actually owns, where he owns it, all that stuff. He's been pretty good at hiding what he did get.
Mm-hmm.
So, extreme manipulation.
Interesting. I mean, so what's he being taken to court for exactly?
So the guy who he originally started mining Bitcoin with was a guy named Dave Kleiman.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically mined Bitcoin, but they put it into one address, which Craig Wright controls apparently. And so the family of the guy wanted the amount that he mined back, but it's been pooled together. So Craig Wright has to give it back.
Interesting. Oh man, this crypto world is ripe with scams. I mean,
yeah. Well, and you called it, right? So the end of last year, it's not the hardest call in the world, but saying that, there will be more scams, and within 2 weeks of the new year, we already got some old scams pumping hard.
Yep, they are. They're taking my advice and hitting 2020 head on. Nothing like scamming your way. How much? Okay, so this is pumped. Let's just say 50%. So the value is actually, 200%, because the value is doubled, right? So it's pumped.
Quadrupled.
Has it quadrupled? No, it hasn't.
Satoshi Vision, yeah.
No, it hasn't. Are you serious?
Yeah, I was showing you the percentages earlier. Pay attention, goddammit.
Well, I thought we're at, okay, from 81. I was doing a little bit more of like from yesterday till today.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Just recently, it was only like wow.
Let's see. 162 was Monday, and now here we are on Wednesday, and it's at 337. So yeah, a little bit over, more than doubled. Yeah, so pretty good. Old scammer, how much money do you think he was sitting on, and then what did he double this into?
It only God knows.
Oh, well, Richard Cooper's sleeping right now, so you're gonna have to give me an idea. What do you think? Give me a ballpark.
In terms of Craig Wright's holdings?
Like, how much do you think? Yeah, his holdings, and then what he made, you think, off of this little scammerino?
Well, so he's been in Bitcoin quite a while, and so even since the days when you could mine it on your computer, some people who bought back then, have like 30,000 to 90,000 Bitcoin, and so that's quite a lot. But also, you have some guys during that time who mined more, who mined less. So, I mean, if you just said like something really small, like 10,000 Bitcoin, how much would that be? How much would that add up to?
10,000 times 8 is 8 million, isn't it? 10,000 times 8,000, I believe, is 8 million.
Yeah, it sounds about right. So, I mean, if that would be like something small amount that, you would easily have.
80 million. Fucking Christ. 80 million.
Add an extra zero, potato.
And so then he is, what do you think he's making on top? So he had how many, you think?
So that's, I mean, 10,000 would be a rough estimate about how easy it would be to get that amount of Bitcoin back when he started. So that would be like a minimum amount. He could have up to 100,000 potentially.
So let's see. Let's just say 10,000 at 337. That's a cool 3.3 million. Not bad for a day's work.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a lot more than that. So I mean, that's like probably 10% of what he could have.
Good stuff. Let's see. We got some jokesters in the chat. So let's talk about what's going on with this whole this pump. I want to talk more about the speculation there. What do you think? Is this organic, this Bitcoin pump, or no?
Oh, the Bitcoin one?
Yeah.
No, I think it's actually the market has a lot of old money sloshing around in it, and people know that something's going to happen here in the early part of this year with the halving coming up and everything. I just think it's old money getting bored and wanting to do something.
You think so? Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, earlier this year, we actually already expected, in terms of the technical price for the price to come up, but it came up about, it's supposed to probably get rejected somewhere in the early 8,000s, and it's just come up a bit more than that. The one thing which is interesting is the volume has not increased that much, really. So because the volume hasn't increased, that means there's not a lot of new money coming in. For example, they just printed a few million more dollars of Tether and stuff like that. That money can come into the market pretty easily, but there's not been like a real influx of new money. The one thing which did happen just today or yesterday was new options trading was available by the CME as well. So you got people trying out that for the first time as well.
Looks like there's a small pump in the volume. It was kind of stabilizing at 30 billion, and then we got up to almost double that in the recent couple of days here.
You're looking on CoinMarketCap?
Yeah, I'm looking at CoinMarketCap.
And you're looking at the 24-hour volume, or?
I'm looking at here. I'll just show you my screen because this is pretty interesting. Let me find it. Where we at? There it is. Okay, this one right here. See? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Oh, it's the total market cap, right?
Right. You see at the bottom here, the 24-hour volume.
I got what you're saying.
Went from like 30 billion. So look, the pump started on Tuesday morning about 9 a.m. Again, UTC plus 900. I believe that's Japanese time. So yeah, about so that's about Monday night ish in the States. So then it went from 8,100 to 8,400 in only 2 hours. 25 billion dollars in volume within that 24-hour cycle. And then as you can see, the volume just continues to go up, and it's been pretty fucking insane. Now we're looking at 24-hour volume, 46 million.
Yeah, for billion, right? $46 billion. Yeah,
46 billion. Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty good increase for Bitcoin specifically. The interesting thing along with that at the same time, if you go to like the front of the CoinMarketCap screen.
What, when your front page?
Yeah, where they show everything.
Okay.
Well, I guess you can see that at the top there. The Bitcoin dominance is at 66%, which is actually down about 3 or 4%. So the Bitcoin market cap went up. The total market cap was at just about 200 million on that day as well. So just over the last few days, about $40 billion has pumped into the market, mostly into Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin dominance has gone down because some of that money has also sloshed into Ethereum-based tokens. So a lot of the Ethereum-based tokens just over the last 24 hours have also pumped.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of the times when this new money comes into the market, it sloshes around. And what we had at the last bull market, which led to a lot of the altcoins going up, was that the money sloshed, from the top of the market, from Bitcoin down into Ethereum based coins. And then, you kind of had this trickle down effect. Within the current bull market, we've only really had Bitcoin and a few other alts moving. But this is actually a pretty good sign of a market wanting to do more. And yeah, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, most of these direct, what do you call them? Direct altcoins forked from Bitcoin are also pumping.
And what do you think that is? Because,
well, they're all doing it together, right? So,
do you think this is a collaboration?
Well, they're all linked through. They're all hard forked together. So, a lot of the people who run each project probably work in tandem.
Yeah, Bitcoin Diamond's pumping 50% as well. Interesting.
Yeah, all of them: Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV.
Look at all these fuckers, and everybody. There's probably people out there thinking this is just a coincidence. Damn, Bitcoin Satoshi's vision is now worth more than Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, it was, the market cap had actually surpassed it for a little bit. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision was number 4.
Welcome to digital clown world.
So no, but that's what happens when you get $40 billion of new money into a market, is it starts to slosh around, and the people who have some control over the strings and where things kind of get pulled and stuff start doing their tricks.
Interesting. Check this out. Extra Guac was saying, I was hoping BTC would go down 5K to 6K so I could buy more.
Everybody is.
Yeah. In your bra.
Yeah. Well, that's the Chappelle meme again, right? Just like, goddamn, I wish I got that any more of that $3,000 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just that price would be nice, but not guaranteed anything.
David Phillips is blaming cryptocurrency. He said, I made the wallet offline, never been online ever again, with old laptop, but still wallet emptied all on one morning. Crypto has no future because my story is happening twice a week. No, that is because you are irresponsible.
Yeah, sounds like a troll, an irresponsible troll.
That's irresponsible, buddy. You come on now. And the salt continues saying, don't worry, all crypto is going down with the occasional little pump like the one today. What do you say? Is crypto going down? Is money in crypto flowing away, or is it flowing in?
I think $41 billion just entered the market. I would say that's flowing in.
Yeah. I mean, shit, you gave me $41 billion. Do you know what I would do with that shit? Good Lord.
Well, yeah, you can ask Bill Gates to hand you some or something. Him and Jeff Bezos are the only ones with those amounts.
If you have $41 billion transferred to your account right now, what would you do?
I don't know.
End the broadcast.
Go crazy, yeah. I would start buying countries.
I would book a first-class flight to Bora Bora and book out one of those luxury-ass villas on the water. I'd intentionally make my girl ride an economy just to establish dominance on the way there. And then, on the way back, I'll put her in like an economy plus.
There you go. A little bit of extra space.
Yeah. I'll drive around with like one of those little golf carts and make her pedal behind me in a bicycle. It would be great. $41 billion. That's a lot of money, man. I don't know. You think $41 billion is just flowing into a dead end investment, guys? Come on now.
Yeah, clearly not. And it's just a taste of money that's going to come into the market at the beginning of this year. But Bitcoin is going to be getting a lot more volatile, probably come around March, April, May, and June. And that price period, you're going to have to start getting used to some a little bit of whiplash, I think. Because the closer that we get to the halving, the more speculation will be done by everybody in the market, including the miners.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on in this market that people are just chalking up to coincidence. But I see with my Bitcoin red-pilled eyes that there are moves being made in the shadows. Something big's coming. And I think that I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like
They're
there's
going to lead to fireworks in the second half of this year for sure.
You think so?
Well, we talked about it the last show, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like price prediction and that type of thing. But all this type of gearing up. The one thing which is really interesting, what I'm going to do to end that thought is, I guess all this type of gearing up is just leading to there's going to be more speculation abound. The one thing with the CME coming out with options on their futures trading, what it's trying to do is trying to suppress the price of Bitcoin. But most of the miners know that the cost of production, the amount that it costs to actually produce one whole Bitcoin at the moment, or one Bitcoin is about $7,400 or somewhere between 6,400 and 7,400. So the CME, they're going to come out and they're going to try to give these other ways to inflate the supply of Bitcoin artificially by giving contracts on paper, basically. And that will suppress the price of Bitcoin and keep it closer to that cost of production. But as we get closer to the halving, the miners start getting into all this, a lot more speculation and goes abound. It's going to be harder for them to hold down that price of Bitcoin by producing fake, Bitcoin through fake supply through contracts. And then once it gets away from them, they can't hold the price down below 20,000 anymore. The price starts getting pretty wild. So they can only hold it down for so long.
Trophy Dolphin wants to know $50,000 BTC at the end of this year.
So what did I say at the end of last show? I think I said 30,000 would be reasonable.
But you think this year we crush the all-time high?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
I'm going for it.
I'm selling my gold chains and I'm buying all my Bitcoin.
Do it.
Let's see. Pseudoscientist says early adapters will make out good, but most will be poor forever.
That's great. That's very cheerful.
Nigerian Don says the alt's looking quite good, right? Is the alt season starting or nah?
Nah. I think it's
a big batsu from me.
We have to come back with that. Unfortunately, Reddit's down. We have to come back with that meme from last week with
it's up now. I just checked. It's back up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What was the one from last week? But anyways,
yeah.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm
gonna go death of the universe and then alt season.
There you go.
So you got a time for the heat death of the universe, and then you have to figure out a way to survive without heat, and then you can cash in and buy some buy some crypto. I don't know, or buy whatever you can buy in a post-heat death universe.
Well, yeah, as long as you got to the exit before burning up. But no, like with the altcoins, you'll know very clearly. Right now, everything's kind of percolating, kind of getting ready. I think these are all little test runs, and then once stuff starts flowing here in the next early part of this year, you'll start to see a lot more speculation.
Got a question here from Trophy Dolphin. He says, should I keep my BTC on cold storage till end of next year?
So what was the strategy going in, right? That's the main question. So the answer to that would probably generally be yes. The reason being is your strategy would be to buy it, hold it. The only stuff you move is the stuff that you're willing to lose. In the meantime, it should be a minor % of your entire holdings.
There you go. Maybe I should just be quiet. I'm making a move. I'm making a move. It's what would you say? Is it a big move? Is it a small move? I mean, obviously in the big picture, it's a small move. I think for the commoner, it's a big move. I'm banking on. My philosophy at this point is this. It's Q1, 2020. The halving is coming up. We're already seeing some insane price action. Whether it be manipulated or not, the hands with money are making some moves. Now, when you have that happening, you got to be pretty smart about it too. You can't just be running in head first and spending $6,000 on Monocoin or some shit like that.
Yeesh. Reminds me of some fun times.
Yeah, you remember me doing that. But I think right now, acquiring Bitcoin before the halving is, it's just simple law of supply and demand, right?
Yeah, and we had, the price at the high 6,000s, low 7,000s for, December and early part of January. So just keep cost averaging in, keep buying over the next couple of months here, and you won't regret it come the second half of this year.
Right. So, I mean, just like a very, very simple like supply and demand curve here, right? So we'll just, let me see if I can pull this up to show you guys on the chat. For you guys that are kind of like may not know what the supply and demand thing is. Oh, great. That's lovely. One second, I'm gonna find a chart here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Study.com got me here. Okay. Can I just make this big? Oh, this is a nice little. Should I play this? I think I'm just gonna play this. All right, guys, take a look at this little educational thing here, just so you can understand supply and demand for you guys out there that basically don't understand it. Take a look here. Charlie, let me know if you can hear this.
To help us interpret supply and demand graphs, we're going to use an example of an organization we'll call Soap & Co., a profitable business that sells, you guessed it, soap. The title of Soap & Co.'s supply and demand graph is called Soap. The title's location at the top of the graph tells us what good we'll be studying. Now, look at the outside lines around the graph, or the axis points. It's important to first determine what's happening on each axis. The y-axis, or the vertical line, is showing us the price of a box of soap bars. You can see in the graph that the price starts at $0 and then rises. The prices shown on the graph are dependent on the good being discussed. For instance, if we were studying the price of houses instead of soap, we would see the prices go up by thousands instead of ones. The other axis line, also called the x-axis, or the horizontal line, shows the quantity of the soap. This line shows the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded, depending on which curve you're reviewing. The quantity will start off at 0 items and then increase. While you would enjoy paying $0 for a box of soap bars, if you look over at the x-axis line, you soon learn that no boxes of soap bars will be offered to you at $0. The X in the center of the graph shows lines that represent our supply curve and our demand curve. Soap & Co. has a certain willingness to supply soap to consumers. They're much more willing to supply soap if the price is higher, since they'll make more money. After all, if you were supplying soap, you would supply more when the prices are higher, because making money is a major goal of business. In contrast, at very low prices, most soap suppliers can't afford to provide soap to the marketplace because the opportunity for profit isn't there. Think about the input costs, or the costs of elements needed to create the product, such as glycerin, machines, colors, and scents. Can you see how the input costs can add up quickly? Let's review our supply and demand graph to check out how Soap & Co. is going to supply at different prices.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good enough run there. But you see, that's just like a cool, like a 101. But basically, as the supply of something goes down, the demand for it will go up. And in this situation we have here, we have the permanent reduction of probably, if not the most valuable, one of the most valuable digital assets in today's day and age. So based off of the history of Bitcoin as well, I mean, I don't know. I Charlie, at this point, I sound like a fucking broken record, and I think you do too.
Yeah, well,
you just play a fucking recycle, like, don't buy altcoins, buy Bitcoin, hold,
Well, here's the thing with that, right? Is you can tell people it enough, but it's still, I don't know, norm is going to norm or shit's just going to happen. Some people are going to do it regardless. So I do think it is important to, like every day on my channel, I go through the altcoins, which ones are pumping, which ones are not. The ones that are, are they any good, or is there anything, worthwhile in them? Mostly the answer is no. Very rarely, every once in a while, you say, oh, that one looks like it could be worth a gander for a little bit more. But, you got to go through that whole routine, because once we get into the insanity of a bull market, people will automatically forget most of those things, throw them out the door, and then go and start throwing their money all around. And that's how they'll lose most of it.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch that happen.
And it's going to happen again.
When your phone blows up nonstop, with all of these people, hey, I heard you're into the Bitcoin, and I saw this Bitcoin thing here and there. Like, should I invest now $9,000 at when Bitcoin's at 17,000? Like, yep, go all in, sell everything you got, buddy.
Oh man,
I know we haven't talked in 10 months, but by all means, I would love to ruin your life right now because you're just using me. No, definitely don't do that.
They'll probably ask for Verge at the same time.
David Phillips looks like he sleeps with his hand on a loaded revolver under a bed. This motherfucker is paranoid. This is nothing is safe in the digital world. Only safe bullion you take possession of. Sir,
well,
you can't take possession of your cryptocurrency by using the bread wallet. It's yours forever, and it's in your possession. And then he says they can only hold silver down for so long, but can manipulate crypto forever. I think that is hilarious.
Well, yeah, they're gonna definitely manipulate both markets for both, precious metals, silver, gold, and Bitcoin. They're going to try to hold all of them down as much as possible. Which one will win out in the end? Obviously, silver and gold are a lot more, predictable, whereas Bitcoin, once it goes above to a new all-time high, is extremely unpredictable. And then along with that, you can actually hold your gold. Unless the government says it's illegal, and they come to your house. Well, not going to come to every house, but when gold is illegal to actually hold, then they will come and say, oh, we're going to take your gold too. So when they come and try to say, can we take your crypto? It's going to be a lot harder for them to do unless you just, unless they take a gun and put it to your head.
Come pry it from my dead crypto hodling hands, motherfucker. You have to kill me. And I'm not going to tell you my password. I'll die in spite not to give you my fucking Bitcoin.
Exactly.
But I think this guy's just a little paranoid. All right.
Okay, a little bit off.
Yeah, David, calm down. What are you watching us if you fucking hate crypto? Here's another question from Walk. It says, does the Trump-Iran thing have anything to do with BTC shirts? Every time there's a war scare or a missile scare, Bitcoin pumps, though.
Yeah, it's part of this idea that Bitcoin is a safe haven. It is a hedge against, fiat currency and stuff like that. So it is, again, a hedge against the traditional market. Is it a safe haven? I think there's a subset of people who do think it is, and that's why you do get that. If it truly becomes one, then it will pump a lot harder.
Okay. Let's see. Like he says, 2019 now have a checkbox for virtual currency. Yeah, I'll be sure to report that, Uncle Sam.
Yep.
Which you should. You should all do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is ways to basically claim your crypto in tax form without telling them that it's crypto. That's all I'm gonna say. Dun, dun, dun. But anyways, yeah, there's ways to get around this stuff without them getting their nose too deep in your stuff. So just don't check the box.
Yeah, I would say that
definitely check it.
Definitely, and pay extra.
Dude, did you hear about that guy that went to North Korea that got arrested?
No.
So he was an Ethereum based engineer, and he went to North Korea for a conference, and the United States said don't go, and he went anyways, and now they threw him in prison.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah. So basically any of these people who are trying to do this type of stuff, basically they're saying, well, North Korea is trying to evade sanctions, so anybody who tries to even remotely help them is going to be actually responsible. So they're going to start throwing people in prison if they can.
Just people who are going to North Korea to evade taxes or whatever, or what?
No. He just went there for a conference.
What the fuck kind of conferences be going on in North Korea?
Some bullshit blockchain conferences, apparently.
Are you joking me?
Yeah, like they have people who show up and like are sleeping, but it's just like people that they pay, the North Korean government paid to be there.
What?
Weird, right?
Are you fucking joking me?
No, 100% serious. It's weird.
There's a blockchain conference in North Korea. North Korea, Kita Kyojo, whatever.
Yep, North Korea. The one that's no good.
What the fuck? Are you joking me? Trophy Dolphins in the famine conference.
Oh, brutal.
Oh man, get your famine coin. Good Lord, are you joking me?
Yeah, so don't basically also Iran, right? The US is heavily sanctioning Iran. So anybody that's trying to deal related to cryptocurrency, whether it's just a conference related to like Iran, North Korea, or any of these countries that are on the sanction list of the United States, if they're U.S. citizens, the United States will try to potentially do stuff to them, especially if they're like developers or whatnot. So it's just a random weird thing that came up. But there is one other scam out the early part of this year, because we were talking about Bitcoin Satoshi Vision a little bit earlier. There is one other scam that I mentioned at the end of last year that actually has seemingly come out as an actual scam. I can share the screen here in a second. Hold on.
By all means, take your time.
I got to go through like 3 clicks to get to this thing. You can see that?
I can see that. There we go.
Yeah. So at the end of last year, you said on the last show, I think it was around like the 16th or something in December, you said there was going to be a more, scams coming out. Obviously, the pump with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision today, but also this thing called Hex, HEX, is an altcoin, which I had mentioned during that show that could potentially be the first true scam to come out here in 2020. Along with the pump in Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, it was basically they had $7 million worth of Ethereum in one private address that had been donated or built up in this scam that was cleared out. So the guy for about 2 years built up all this money related to Hex. It started going live. People started putting a bunch of money into it with Ethereum. And then he just took it all away. So just run away with the money.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's funny. Those guys are. Can you put that back up one more time?
Sure, yeah.
I just want to talk. Look, this is the world of like, with cryptocurrency. Yeah, there's a little bit of scams here and there, but like, I think that's hilarious. Look, it says around 7 million worth of Ethereum has been withdrawn from an address associated with the Hex. What's on my mind? Hex cryptocurrency after weeks of speculation that it was headed towards an exit scam. The funds were transferred on January 6th through 36 separate transactions, with each one withdrawing exactly 1337. Do you know what that is? That's old internet gamer speak. The leet, man, leet hacksaw. If you're leet 1337, that means you are. That's like internet slang for like being cool, or like you did something cool,
like elite.
Yeah, like they say on if on Twitch they say pog, right?
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what that is. So this is definitely some like internal like hacker kind of. I don't know, man.
Well, the guy who did it, who set this whole thing up, because there's a bunch of articles on how he set it up and everything, is a guy named Richard Hart.
They already found out who it was.
Oh, he's the one who runs the whole Hex thing, and he basically made this cryptocurrency to run away with people's money. But when he made it, he didn't put his name as the one who controlled the origin address for the Hex. But basically, he was the one. Like, it basically can't be proven, but it's clear that it was him.
So what are they saying now? What are they saying on their surface level? Like, oh, this is happening, and we're so sorry, public. Like, what's the bullshit public thing they're giving? Like the PR.
Oh, we don't have control of that address, which they do. But oh, we don't know who has control of that address. Basically stuff like that.
Unbelievable.
But I mean, it's just a blatant thing. It's like, okay, we're definitely doing this. It's just a blatant money grab, and people are just like, okay. But it was done in such a way that it's kind of like BitConnect in that way. It's like, oh yeah, put some money in here, and it'll definitely go well. And then they just pull the rug out from everybody underneath them. So super easy scam, but people keep falling for it.
Here's another person just falling. Read that on the screen. Can you see that?
Yeah. What's that about? I didn't hear about that.
We just talked about it.
No, but what was he talking about with Rich? Oh, Richard Hart. I was thinking the other Rich.
No.
I was like, what, Rich?
Yeah, scammed in crypto all the time. Take a look at this.
Oh yeah. So this guy says he never promised a single thing to anybody. Well, yeah. I mean, it's the easiest to get caught in a lie when you have, some truth to that lie, right? I mean, so it's easier to, for people to lie when there's some truth to the lie. So he didn't, he basically made things opaque enough that he could get away with basically anything.
I just can't believe that people defend these situations at hands, and like when if all the withdrawals are made at 1337, come on, like you're silently trolling the real world.
Yeah.
You want to read what our local paranoia is?
Oh yeah. So you can't hold digital assets privately. The government can take it in ways that you can't even imagine, but not so with silver bullion that you bury and lose in an unfortunate camping accident. That's pretty funny. I have no idea why people keep going between precious metals and crypto. It's like they both have their different purposes in the way to hold them. So you can hold them in ways that the government can't take them. You can put your Bitcoin private address in an emoji, text. So there are ways to put it in the plain sight, which nobody would be able to really recognize to hide it. So, that right there goes out the window. But at the same time, precious metals and crypto related people are relatively similar types of investors, largely libertarian type people. And so I don't see why people are like, oh my God, you can't invest in gold, or you can't invest in silver, or you can't invest in Bitcoin. It's like, no, if you invest in one, you probably are going to invest a little bit in all of them. So what's the point of being divisive?
I've been buying up gold. I know gold's going up in price. I also got some digital gold,
Yeah, you want, why not have it all?
Have it a little bit of both, I know a guy who flies with anywhere between $700,000 to $1 million worth of cryptocurrency on his phone. Government never knows. That money goes from border to border. He flies, internationally all the fucking time. The government, they saber rattle a lot, but the reality is the government is filled with fucking morons. Like the smartest people are in the private sector. It's like motivated people who want to get out there and be somebody. They're not like, hey, I want to go work for the government. If anything, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the people who want to do that usually want to just siphon off money, because it's easy.
So we got another one here. Since you're such a ball of charisma today,
you as well.
Promising that someone would be done with ETH would make Hex a security, according to them. What does that mean?
Promising something would be done with Ethereum would make Hex a security. I have no idea about that. But usually when somebody comes up with a long convoluted scheme about this will happen and then this will happen, people go along for the ride, jump through certain hoops, especially in their mind, and they're like, oh yeah, well, it's not going to end poorly because XYZ is still yet to happen, which he's already out the door. So right it's like, yeah.
Xguac says, lesson, you stop fucking around with alts.
Well, the funniest thing with Hex is that you could have got it one of two ways. One, you could have just proved that you own X amount of Bitcoin and you get the same amount, or you get per one Bitcoin, you get 10,000 Hex. So you could have got like 10,000 Hex for free, right? If you just proved that you had one Bitcoin or more. In addition to that, though, like you could have bought with Ethereum. So the people who, fucked around with alts and bought more Hex with Ethereum, bad move. But the people who got it for free, hopefully they cashed out.
That would be nice, but probably not the situation at hand.
Yeah, 99% of people, nope.
No, I think that with what's coming up in 2020, I think a lot of people, I think for all you guys have been watching us for, the whole year now, basically we're coming up on a year in February. I think that you guys are going to be, because I intentionally started the Tokyo Crypto Show because I wanted to start it in a lull of cryptocurrency when there was no hype or anything. And I think 2020, I don't know if everything, if everything goes crazy like we think it is, 2020 is going to be fucking insane with cryptocurrency.
Yep.
But all you guys out there, watch this. Even if your friends have an inkling of you being involved with cryptocurrency, once Bitcoin hits the all-time high, watch your phone blow up. Watch everybody when everybody starts calling you and asking you about crypto and saying, what should I do? In my opinion, and this is not financial advice, but that's when you sell. When that all the normies come out the norm, I wish I would have done that last time, but this time I know once the normie radar starts going off again, it's time to sell. I'm out. I'm 100%.
Yep. And you'll see them. It'll ramp up for the course of months, right? You got to know which normie friends closest to you have the most normie in them, which ones will be the last ones to finally be like, okay, I should do something, right? Because I think, the last time around or whatever, there was one guy in our office who's just talking shit about Bitcoin and stuff the whole time for like 6 months before the price popped. No, what was his name? He's that Japanese kid who spoke really good English. He's on Ben's team.
Oh, the fucking
preppy kid,
the annoying kid with like the brown hair.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's a loser.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's like the biggest normie around.
He bought in he spent 50 grand at what price was it?
It was like 17,000 or something ridiculous. So once you get somebody like him around you and you're like, okay, this guy is like, negative over here for like the last 6 months. And then all of a sudden he's going to buy some crypto. That's a pretty big red flag.
Oh man. Well, we got a lot coming up this year. So what do you think with this current price right now? When do you think it's going to happen? Again, if you want to pull up your chart one more time, give me a price prediction for, let's just say the next. Where we based off of this movement, what do you think we're going to be at? Because this is a big one.
It's a decent one. It's not that big. It's only about 15% over the last, week or so. I would say we probably stop around 9,000 here, at least for the day. Maybe continue to build up a little bit more. Probably come back down and retest this $8,300 area. So depending on what happens here, are we sharing it?
Right there.
Okay. So here, we're at 88, 9,000. We'd get tested back down here if this holds at the 8,300 area and the price stays above here for several days, it maybe even into the weekend, the longer that Bitcoin can stay above 8,300, the more likely the price is going to stay in the 8,000s and then continue building up from there. But in the course of like the next 60 days, right now we're at the actual high of this cycle, which is about, I think, day 28 or something like that. So if Bitcoin actually goes higher than 9,000 here in sometime between Friday and Monday, that actually would be the first cycle that went longer than 30 days with a new price high. And that would be extremely bullish, meaning that will probably come down back into the 83, maybe low 8,000 area. And then if it continues to build up over the next cycle, then sometime between probably end of probably around April, then you'll start getting higher price valuations back above 10,000.
So do you think we're going to see anything in the 7,000 range anymore?
So that's totally depends on what happens within the next probably half of a week. So by the beginning of next week, if Bitcoin is still above 8,300, then we're more likely to continue to build up. We could still come down back into the 7,000s for a bit, but not too long. Whereas if we break down quite quickly within the next, half of a week down into like sub 8,000, then that would be that would show that this current move up was very temporary. So it depends. The longer it sustains itself, especially right now, that's at a critical point of the 60-day cycle, will determine a lot. So really, the next 2 to 5 days will tell us what's going to happen.
So the thing is, if we're breaking below 8,300, then we have to keep our ears to the ground.
Right. And if it breaks above 9,000 over the weekend, then that means probably a big price drop would be unlikely coming into February. Getting back into like the 6,000s would be very difficult. I think getting back into the 7,000s is not that difficult at all. But we would need a price drop actually quite quickly here to end out this week in order to think that we might see the 6,000s again.
And I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, it seems like this might sustain itself. I mean, it's not really dropping.
Pretty sustainable. When I checked it just now, I expected it because this morning in Tokyo time, which is Wednesday morning, it was up at 8,900, and I checked it tonight. Obviously, now it's like midnight Tokyo time on Wednesday, and it's still up there. I was expecting it to be back down to like 8,400, but
yep. And that's usually what happens is it stays down, right? So if it's staying at the top of kind of where resistance is right now, and it stays like that for another 12 to 24 hours, that would be pretty bullish.
That's going to be very interesting. We're going to get something. Let's take a look at our local bullion bad boy. Bitcoin may well be $1 million one day, but you'll still need 10 BTC to buy a loaf of bread. All right, Peter Schiff. This is why silver bullion is far safer when inevitable hyperinflation happens. I don't think it's going to happen because the government can't control 30 or how many, like 80 million plus Americans angry, hungry with guns. Like, they can't handle that.
Well, look at what's happening down in South America
and eaten, man.
Yeah, exactly. Look at what's happening down in South America, right? I mean, it's just a taste of what would happen in the States, but his logic makes no sense in terms of like hyperinflation. The only thing that would survive is silver. Bitcoin would be toast. It's like, no, actually Bitcoin would do very well in hyperinflation. It's just the dollar that would suck. Whatever. But it's just like, you might as well buy some Bitcoin, buy some silver. You'd be fine in both.
Why silver? Why not gold?
Both.
But why is he harping on about silver? He's got no money.
Some people prefer silver. It's just the way some people are.
Get him, Jacob. Jacob's like, David, how much bullion you got?
Oh, he lost it all in a camping accident, remember?
Yeah. Even a broken clock right twice a day. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Long Dong Chang says, "Isn't the Federal Reserve made of private banks? The U.S. Its won money? What are you talking about? Its own money? Maybe
Yeah.
its own money.
It is. Remember, we went through that once in one of our episodes. The Federal Reserve is made up of private banks, which are controlled by other banks and the government.
Yep.
Duh.
Very, very funny stuff. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today, guys, on the Tokyo Crypto Show, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Guys, in the webinars, we're going to go live here in 23 minutes. So keep an eye on your emails. The Ed Lattimore is going to be coming and speaking to us in the Masculine Empowerment Network webinars. You're not going to want to miss that. Go to cultivatecrypto.com, book a consultation, sign up for his Telegram chat. Learn about cryptocurrency. 2020 is year of plenty. Don't miss out. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.